Well, seems like every time I watch this podcast, it gets more and more funnier, but at the same time, I'm like, it is what it is. It's entertainment. I'm laughing, but at the same time, it's like, eh. So, if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, the last stream that they did as far as with Boogie, Keith, another person came on, I think it was Kid Behind the Camera. Boogie went to a tattoo place because a part of his punishment, well, the first part was he had to put the tattoo liar on his face. Before he even did that tattoo, remember the last video I said in regards to him getting that tattoo, if you really want to punish him, that liar should be right across his forehead. I'm talking about that bald spot that's on the top of his face, right there. It should be large. Liar on the top of his forehead. Yo, keep start talking about punishment. I got good punishments. Bruh, that punishment, that even felt like a punishment. And throughout the time when Boogie was getting the tattoo, that punishment got so downgraded to the point where they were saying, yo, that looks that point on, I was like, this ain't no goddamn punishment. This is like a soft slap on the wrist for faking cancer, because the whole point of the tattoo is for him faking cancer for 2 years. Now, Wings brought up a good point. He said now, since he has this on his face, he should have it on his face for the same length in which he kept up this fake cancer thing for 2 years. I was like, that is a good idea. That's what I was saying to myself. So I was like, okay, we onto something here. The issue was that when he first did it on his face, it was small. I was like, jawline, really? It should be on his forehead. Right on top of his forehead. That big liar on the top of his forehead. Humiliate his ass. You're talking about faking something that people just don't even want to have. And that's cancer. And people died from cancer and you fake that. This is your punishment. Boom. So, as it was continuing to go on, people start chiming in and they was like, this ain't no punishment, man. They were all having a good time with it. Boogie got the tattoo and stuff. He was freaking out at the thing in which he doesn't like people touching his face and all this other stuff. And I'm like, dude, if that was the case, you should have declined this this weird punishment with regard to his tattoo and get something else if you don't like people touching your face. But I was like, I just watched like everybody else, and while he got his tattoo and stuff, Keemstar you might as well just let it all out. He ripped up the contract. He said, I'm destroying the contract. You're back on the show. He could use his Twitter. He could go back on his platforms. He could make videos on his channel again. To be quite honest with you, I don't even see that as like a thing anyway, because Boogie didn't make a video for like a good 2 weeks. So what you saying, like you had his channel hostage? I don't know about that. Boogie was feeling the heat. That's why he didn't want to make a video. But all in all, in regards to, is this enough of a punishment when it comes to faking cancer? He was suspended. He was suspended for a week without pay. And in order for him to get back in the good graces of the show, he had to do X, Y, and Z in order to get back on. So he wasn't really fired. All right? He wasn't really fired. He was just suspended for faking cancer. And of course, other people were talking about as far as Wakeem having morals and all this other stuff. Look, this is straight up entertainment. And as far as with him as a person having morals, I believe every person, to a man, they have a certain morals and standards. That's what I believe. Every man worth his salt has like morals and beliefs and all of that stuff. When it comes to YouTube, it's just entertainment. Look how they were laughing and having a good time with this. And people were wondering as far as with the tattoo being real or fake. At the end of the day, we were all watching and we were all having fun. But just from the mere fact that throughout this entire this adventure, this journey when it comes to Boogie defying with cancer, I got cancer, blah blah blah. Come to find out he never had it, so kicked him off the show and all this other stuff, only to come back like a good week later. He had to read super chats and all this other stuff. A face tattoo is the one that did it. Like, oh, he got a face tattoo. He back on the show. And the thing is, the people that was in there, and he made a poll saying that, oh, since he got the face tattoo, do you want him back on the show? What was it? 62 or 63% of the people say, yeah, bring him back on the show. Like, hold on. Like a number of streams ago, you were questioning Keem's morals and all this other stuff when it comes to kick him off, fire him, don't let him back on and stuff. He only did is put up another poll because he knows that y'all sway so much back and forth. I literally said no just to see what the actual poll would say. Like 63% want Boogie back because of that little face tattoo. It's like, oh, that's a good punishment. Man, you guys would even want to hear my punishment. That one was just a tip of the iceberg when it comes to punishment. Because if I hear that someone faked cancer for that length of time, you don't want to know my punishments. You don't want to know my punishments. You already heard one, and that little baby of a tattoo that Boogie got. Hell no, that don't cut it. That's just one of probably 3 or 5 on my list when it comes to punishments. That liar should be on the top of his forehead. No matter where he turns or who he sees, people gonna see that big fat liar on the top of his forehead. That's your punishment right there. And it's gonna be there for 2 years. I was the first one to say it. And then when that stream was going on, so many other people chiming in when they were seeing the tattoo. They was like, bro, that should be on the top of his forehead if you want to punish him. I was like, hold on. It seemed like that dude was watching my damn video. I was like, damn, like, yo, these guys are funny as hell. Like, you don't want to know my punishment. Oh boy. It's like, Boogie's lucky if it was me. He lucky. Cause that tattoo would be on the top of his forehead. And you see, he was real clever with it too, because he's like, he wanted right along the jawline, because every time he turns, he could at least hide it. And so it's like, yo, it was so calculated as far as where he wanted to put the tattoo to begin with. The only difference is that Wings suggested it should be a little bit bigger. So it's like, but like, you know, that face tattoo, I mean, they were like, man, that looks awesome. That looks, wow, that's fire, bro. So you just devalued your own punishment. Keem just devalued his own punishment. So it's like, it was just strictly entertainment, man. But as far as, you know, people's like, this ain't enough. This is no real punishment. I'm like, of course. Like, the dude's back on the show. For faking cancer. I mean, you know, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. But is it enough in my opinion? Hell no. That liar should be on the top of his forehead. That's just me. That's just me. And other people in there said the same thing I said. Should be on top of his forehead. I believe another part of his punishment moving forward is that he has to keep reading super chats of like at least $20 and up. Even that, to me, I will consider a punishment, because I mean, hell, reading super chats, even if you had gotten 1 or 5 super chats, at the very least, when it comes to people getting super chats, they read them. People love reading super chats, even if it's $1 or $100. I'm reading the super chat, so I don't even consider that punishment. To be honest with you. So that face tattoo, You might as well say on a scale of 1 to 10 in regards to punishment, straight up 2. 2. The only reason why I get to 2 is because of the size. And I give credit to Wings on that. He was like, yo, make it a little bit bigger. That's a little bit too small. Too small. So let me know what you guys think when it comes to that face tattoo, and is it enough of punishment for faking?